Hello and welcome to the Daily for Wednesday, January 23rd. I'm Andrew Wiebe. Next to me, Simon Borg. And Simon, last Thursday, 38 hopefuls learned their fate in the 2013 MLS SuperDraft. On Tuesday, 67 more found new homes, or at least for now, new homes in the Supplemental Draft. What stood out to you? What themes were important out of this one?
Well, first, the New York Red Bulls, they went first in this. They took Ryan Clark out of Monmouth, one of several midfielders they took. It was an all-midfielder draft for them, and they filled out the spots there. Then you had the leading scorer in the NCAAs, Chris Thomas, going to New England, a 23-goal scorer there. Chivas USA continue their Mexican-American push. Some interesting selections for them. And probably the most fascinating team to me, the Vancouver Whitecaps, picking 6 players. The 6 players never came up in any discussions we had with college coaches around the country. So they did their homework. 2 from Notre Dame, 2 from Duquesne. But interestingly enough, 4 coming off injuries, some more serious than others. So they've done their homework. They've picked up guys that they feel clearly they can rehabilitate and make good pros.
Of course, the next step for all of these hopefuls are these preseason camps that opened up last week. Many teams beginning to prepare for those first stops, tournaments, friendlies. A lot of that coming up. You can catch all the coverage on MLSsoccer.com. Also, check the site for the first episode of Inside the SuperDraft. We take you inside the MLS Combine as the players arrive in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Well, big news coming out of CONCACAF this morning. The Gold Cup sites for this summer's tournament have been announced. 13 cities will host from July 7th to 28th. Simon, 5 MLS cities. You've got Salt Lake City, Portland, New York, Houston, and Seattle. A couple that are going to be sad about this one. Kansas City and LA left out of the fun.
Well, 5 MLS stadiums, and so Portland Timbers Jeld-Wen Field is involved here. And remember the brouhaha caused when Merritt Paulson said we're not laying down turf for any event. And by what it seems, it's a FIFA-approved turf. So the Gold Cup will be going into Portland without laying a new grass surface. And I'm curious to see if they put the U.S. here. I think I'm most curious to see the U.S. play at Jeld-Wen. After all we've seen from the fans at Jeld-Wen, I want to see the national team play there.
Yeah, a little bit of news from Carson, California from the current camp going on. According to reports, the U.S. with a 3-0 victory against Club Tijuana in a behind-closed-doors scrimmage. Jeff Park with a goal, and then Will Bruin getting 2, Simon.
You got to feel that Klinsmann is going to come out of this game impressed by Will Bruin. He already talked highly enough about him last week, about the impression he's made in his first camp. Add another 2 goals to that. I got to believe we have a good chance of seeing him in that friendly against Canada in Houston, his home stadium.
Yeah, of course, that is on January 29th, 9 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. You can catch all the coverage here at MLSsoccer.com. Simon, you mentioned it, Chivas USA sticking with that philosophy under Chelis. They want Mexican Americans in that club. They took another step on Tuesday toward that happening outside the supplemental draft, making a trade for the rights to Eric Avila, sending Nick LaBroca to the Colorado Rapids. What do you make of this one?
Well, Chelis told us that this deal made sense for both sides and that Eric Avila wants to play for Chivas USA, and it would be a return to his hometown in Los Angeles, where he's from, Southern California. But Chelis went into detail with us about his mindset and what the team is after, this philosophy of recruiting Mexican-American players. In an interview we did with him down in Florida at the Combine, part 1 of that interview is up on FutbolMLS.com as well as MLSsoccer.com. Catch it, and it's subtitled, so you'll get a good feel for what Chivas USA is going to be about.
A few other notes with Chivas USA. Oswaldo Minda, rumored to be headed to Deportivo Quito, and then Juan Pablo Angel, that MLS legend, has signed with Atlético Nacional. A big move for him, ending his career here in MLS. Another note from the league, TFC had their media yesterday. The big news out of that one, Ryan Nelson, he will arrive on February 1st. A lot of hand-wringing is now over up there in Ontario. He will be there with the team on February 1st and says he will not be available to play should they need him. That's all we have here on The Daily. For Andrew Wiebe and Simon Borg, we'll catch you tomorrow.